Have you ever looked through your life and thought, man, I really messed a lot of things up. Getting back on track is going to be really hard. I want to give you some insight today about what my spirit team told me about how we can stay on the right path in our lives and why it's not really that big of a deal if you've been off track in some way in the past or even present. Hopefully, this will give you some insight on how to get back into alignment with your most authentic self. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name is Angie, and I'm your Soul Alignment Mentor, bringing you intuitive messages from my spirit team to help you live aligned with your most authentic and highest self. So if you ever had those moments of like, man, I wish I would have done something different, or I should have said that in that conversation, or that should have been different, or even thinking back to a long time ago in a situation or scenario with somebody or something, and you're like, dang, I should have done it different that way or that time, or what would have happened if I had done it differently? Well, I'm here to give you some encouraging news that it doesn't matter what happened at that moment. What happens right now in this moment is what really truly matters. So I was thinking about this because I had an experience over the last weekend where I found myself being kind of merged back into the old life that I left behind after I had my awakening. So if you've had a spiritual awakening, you know that things shift very quickly sometimes in your life. And the things that shift often are around relationships and connections or experiences or things that you do on a daily basis. There might be things that you used to love to do that you just don't enjoy anymore or you don't feel in alignment with. Maybe there are things that you would engage in that you wouldn't even think about engaging in anymore. Or maybe there's people that you were really close to or acquaintances with that you just don't resonate with anymore. And it can bring up some guilt and shame when you start to have these feelings, especially around the relationships. But I want to give you some insight that we all go through this. I go through this. And it happened this weekend. I found myself in a situation where I was around someone and some people that I used to be close to. And for me, I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be in a higher frequency, this connection. And I've grown and I've changed, and so much has happened in my life over the last 4 years and even beyond that, that the person I was last time I was with this individual is not the person I am today. And before I would have gone on my awakening and healing journey, I probably would have tried to fit myself into that person that I was in order to feel safe or to feel accepted and loved by this other individual. But what ended up happening was I felt separate. I felt different. I didn't feel like I wanted to be a part of that old energy and life that I left behind. Yet I sat and I observed that life that I had left behind through the people I was with and through the friend I was with. In many ways, I felt really sad and wanted to help these people see that there's way more to life than what they're experiencing in this moment. And part of me wanted to speak up and share my truths and help them to see the truths, but I also knew they couldn't hear me. They were not at my frequency, and it's not a bad or negative thing. It just means that we're on different levels at this time, and maybe they will be on the same level as me in the future. But it's not my responsibility to get them there, just like no one was responsible to get me to where I am. It was through going deep inside of myself and clearing out all the old ideas and programming of who I thought I was to find my most authentic self, to find my place where I am now. And so I was reflecting back into this situation over the weekend where I felt very out of place, where once I was very much in place, and how different it felt to be someone that observed the situation instead of being immersed or a part of it. I left feeling proud, but also sad and confused and unsure about what my steps would be moving forward regarding this connection or relationship. And I came to the conclusion that the only thing I needed to worry about was love. Just loving the individual, loving myself, and letting myself be okay with where I am at the moment without needing to change anything. I don't need to change who I am to make somebody else feel comfortable with where I am in my life now. The growth and the progress and the work I've done on myself was hard. And I should feel proud of that. And I should be able to be in the place I am now without guilt or shame or feeling bad for it. And so as I was reflecting on all these emotions that came up in me over the weekend, my spirit team began to give me this vision. And it made a lot of sense to me when they showed this to me, because I thought about the journey of life and how we go through so many different obstacles and different versions of ourselves, and our personality changes and our views change and our ideas change, and who we are as a person completely changes, especially as you go through in a spiritual awakening or you're ascending into a higher frequency in consciousness, or moving into even the 5D energy and leaving behind 3D energy. A lot can happen when you are in that process. A lot changes. A lot fades away. And the universe might give us opportunities to see our growth by putting us back in places and situations that we once were a part of. And instead of trying to figure out why did that happen, just remember that sometimes by you even being present around somebody, it gives them an insight and a mirror for them to begin their process, but it doesn't make you responsible for it. So as my spirit team was talking to me about this life journey, they showed me this vision, and I'm going to show you a picture of what I drew of this. This is a picture that they gave me. They showed me that this is our beginning of our human experience in life, and this is our end. And in between our human experience and the end of our human experience, we have a whole bunch of things our soul wanted to experience when we came here. So in this box are all the lessons that we wanted to learn. We wanted to learn about love. We wanted to learn how to be authentic. We wanted to learn some challenges. We wanted to overcome things. We wanted to experience our human life to the fullest. And so within this, our soul holds all the lessons our human body, mind, and experience and ego came to experience. From the beginning to the end of our life, we have all these things that we're working through and we're learning from. But then they began to show me something even more interesting as they were showing me this picture. They showed me this, and I'm going to draw this on here just a little. They showed me this line beginning to go in and out of this experience. And maybe this way, and maybe this way, and maybe back down this way, and maybe this way, and maybe this way, and then this way. And it looks like we're not in our purpose sometimes. But then we get all the way to the end of our life, and then it comes to an end. And when they showed this to me, it began to make more sense. That sometimes the things that we think we're experiencing outside of our true selves or our soul mission or what we're here to learn and do are actually a part of it. And it doesn't matter if you get off course or if you make the wrong decision or you look back through life and have those questions. I wish I did. I wish I didn't. All the shoulds and could haves and shouldn't haves. All that is involved in all of this. And all of it gives us our experience as being a human. And as you can see, it always comes back to the middle. It always comes back to the lesson that our soul wants to learn. And the only thing that we need to do when we're out here outside of this is to come back into the center of now. Come back into the present, which is our soul experience, and reconnect with our most authentic self. And we'll always end up where we're supposed to be. It doesn't matter what happens in between the beginning and end. We always end up in the same place in the end. There's no way to make that end different. And so I got to thinking about how stressed out we become when our life seems to be off track, or things aren't working out the way that we want them to work out, or this relationship is strained, or that relationship's ending, or I don't know what to do with my life at this point, or I don't understand my purpose. There's all kinds of questions that we all have as we go through this life, but it's all a part of that intertwining in the learning experience that our soul came to learn. And what I think is really amazing about this is that even when we're outside of our soul, outside of that authentic version of ourselves, we are still connected in some way. We can't ever get away from this. There's no way to get away from this part of ourselves because it is who we are. Even when we get off track, and even when we get outside of our true self, even when we are compromising, even when we're making mistakes, all that stuff does not disconnect us from our true self, from our soul, from our original form. And just like we came into the earth as our true, most authentic version of ourselves, when we go back, we are going back to the exact same thing. We can never lose that ability to reconnect in that way when we come to that place where our time is to move on and transition back to spirit. We always go back to the same place that we came from. The continuation of our soul and spirit is eternal. And so the life experience and the human experience we have is just one of those extra lines that our soul is experiencing. And as we are learning from those experiences, we get more and more of a glimpse of who we are. We merge back into the authentic version of ourselves, and then we might get off track and need to come back eventually. But there's no way to get away from that. There's no way to make a mistake so big that we don't end up where we're supposed to be. There's no way to not go back to where we came from. It's all connected because it's a continuation of who we are as our true, most authentic version of ourselves. And so if you feel like you're off track right now, allow yourself to feel a little bit extra love for yourself, first of all. And that love will help bring you back into the center of who you are. And then remember your truth. Allow yourself to embody that truth and live that truth. And then when you start to wander away from that truth again, because we all do, because we're human, when you get outside the boundaries of that authentic version of yourself, allow yourself the grace and love to come back when you realize you've done it, and then sit back in that presence of your true self. And just know, the more you come back to that authentic version of yourself, the more you come back to the center of who you are, the easier it is to recognize when you're not being that person. The easier it is to get back to that place, because you'll begin to notice the different energies and feelings that you have each time you move outside of your authentic version of yourself. Each time you take a step outside of that soul connection that you have with your higher self, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel your ego. You'll feel the decisions you make. You'll feel out of alignment. So the first step is to learn, what does it feel like to be in alignment with my true self? What does it feel like to be connected to my soul? What does it feel like to know what my own energy is like? And so by meditating and spending time studying yourself and self-realization and spiritual growth and mental health growth and everything that you can do to fully embody your true self, that journey of learning who that is why we're here. The journey of messing up and remembering and getting out of alignment and back into alignment is all part of the process of becoming your most authentic version of yourself. And you can't mess it up, because all the outside and the inside and the mess ups and the could haves and should haves are all part of this journey. And if we didn't have them, we would never learn. We would never grow. We would never truly know who our most authentic self is. And you can't mess it up. You can't not end up in the right place, because we all go back to the same place that we came from. And there's no way to stop that process. No matter how much you do wrong or how many things you've messed up, you are always going to have your higher self that is going to love you back into your original form. And you can do that while you're a human here on earth before you transition back into spirit. And that's what the journey of growth is all about. It's the ins and outs, could have, should haves, don't want to. All the things that are coming up in your human experience are part of this journey of learning to embody your true, most authentic, highest self. If this is something you want to learn more about and you are curious about connecting with that part of yourself, I want to invite you to join my Beyond the Physical Mediumship course that I'm starting on January 22nd of 2025. I'm going to drop a discount code in the comments below or in the description below. And I want you to use that to get $95 off of this course. And I want you to come join me so that we can work on this alignment together, and you can begin to open up yourself more to embody that truth of who you are. Because we all have our gifts within that box, that frequency of our true self. And we just have to learn how to embody it, to stay in that moment of who we are, and allow that part of ourselves to guide and lead us and shine into the world around us. And I truly believe that anybody can get back into that connection, no matter how far you've wandered out of it. So I invite you to come join me. If you would like more information or would like to talk to me more about it, feel free to set up a consultation or email me. You can email me as well. But I'd love to have you join that course with me. It's just 8 weeks, and we will go through all kinds of this stuff to help you learn how to embody your authentic self and connect with your spiritual gifts. Until we meet again, I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.